Now that I've explained the answer for 10 minutes, do you understand the problem, Nathan?
Yes.
Are you lying to me? Yes. Hello. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing hot sauces. Oh, you thought this was a booktube channel. I understand. We're not just reviewing hot sauces though, we are also talking about the latest in the Locked Tomb series, Nona the Ninth. Oh, Grace, why are you reviewing hot sauces while talking about this necromantic lesbian gay book? Well, thing is, I didn't want to just talk about Nona the Ninth. I actually do personally want to try hot sauces. Actually, my original idea was tomato sauce, but then there's a character named Hot Sauce in Nona the Ninth, so I thought, okay, fuck it, let's just eat some hot sauce, I guess. So today I have 3 hot sauces. For me, not for you. The first one is Cholula. Should I do the YouTuber thing where I put my hand in front of it? No, whatever. This is Cholula. As you can see, it's kind of a little bit empty. This is my usual hot sauce. I only really put hot sauces on like my breakfast sandwiches or like my eggs or whatever. So Cholula is my go-to. And I bought 2 new hot sauces. This is sriracha sauce. I actually never had sriracha sauce. Because the thing is, I'm not really a spice person. Well, correction. I used to not really be a spice person until I got more into different kinds of spicy food, such as Indian food, Korean food. I'm really into Korean food nowadays. So I've started to explore with spice more, cook with gochujang and stuff like that. And the third hot sauce we have here is Dave's Gourmet Insanity Sauce. This is something that I found in my local grocery store. It is the original hottest sauce in the universe, and it's insane. And legit, there's a warning in the back that says, keep away from eyes, pets, and children, not for people with heart or respiratory problems. Shake well and refrigerate after opening. But it is gluten-free. And, you know, for lunch, I've decided to have some dino nuggies, because I feel like Nona would eat these. So while I eat some dino nuggies for your viewing pleasure, I'm going to be reviewing not just Nona the Ninth, but also the entire Locked Tomb series. Okay, let's just start. I'm gonna start with some Cholula and put on my T-Rex. These are plant-based dino nuggies because I'm just like that. I'm not even really a vegan. I just like the plant. I just bought these and I'm like, oh, these taste good. All right, yeah. So I know what I'm about. Cholula is my jam. Spicy, but not too spicy. Still very flavorful. And yeah. So to begin, the Locked Tomb series is a 3-book series, soon to be 4th next year. And the first book we have is Gideon the Ninth. Gideon the Ninth was pitched as sort of like the tagline was necromancer lesbians in space, which is not wrong, but not entirely correct. So Gideon the Ninth follows titular character Gideon, who is the cavalier to Harrow Nona the necromancer of the Ninth House. So how this universe works, to the best of my remembering, is that there are 9 houses, and the first house belongs to the Emperor Undying, first king of the Andals and the Emperor John. And the Emperor has lictors or saints or something. And he needs a new lictor, so he calls upon the heirs of the 9 houses to engage in a series of tests in order to select his new lictor. And Gideon and Harrow are part of the dying 9th house, and this 9th house, its only purpose is to guard the locked tomb, which holds the only person in the world who can defeat the Emperor. Gideon and Harrow go to the Cannon House, I believe it was called, and they engage in a series of tests to see who can become the next lictor. Of course, there are the other heirs of the other 8 houses, or 7 houses, because first house is the house of the Emperor, and then there's second to 9, which is 8 houses. I'm doing math. However, there is also murder afoot. There is someone or something that is killing the rest of the participants. I kind of want another nugget. I have ketchup here too, because we can't live on hot sauce alone. Okay, and then to be honest, I don't totally remember the entire plot of Gideon the Ninth other than the beginning and then the end, because the beginning is where things start to roll in. You're starting to learn about Gideon and Harrow. You're starting to learn about like the systems and how they work. And then the ending was very climactic. I love the ending so much. It was a big battle scene. It was a big fight scene in which identities are revealed and truth comes out. I'm gonna be real with you though, I just kind of vibe with the whole thing. And that is my general like relationship with the Locked Tomb series, in which there is a lot happening and a lot you learn, but you're not taught these things these are what the characters know because they live in this universe, and they're not explaining it to anyone, not even to the reader. And that is something I really appreciate, because some fantasy series can get really like info dumpy and stop all the action just to explain something to the reader, or to the reader equivalent, such as, oh, like the main character doesn't know anything, therefore the other characters have to explain it to them, and then it kind of gets tedious, and it's like, what? I think I remember that I happened to read Nevernight, and like that book takes a whole different approach with explaining things, because there are footnotes, and that I didn't really like the footnotes that much, because like there's this, like, sometimes the footnotes just kind of don't really matter. It's like, because in the Nevernight world, there's no night, the Nevernight. There are like footnotes about how like the curtain makers make really good curtains, and I'm like, cool, you know, you could have just showed me a curtain, I would have guessed. And it's like, okay. So Gideon, and really the entire Locktoon series, they don't hold your hand. You explore as you read the book, which it's not just the story itself that's a puzzle box, it's the experience of you reading the story that is also a puzzle box, because you start on the surface and then you get in deeper. And it's really the same with all three of these books. I don't have my other copies with me, I just have Nona right now. And so each book, you go in and you're like, okay, I have no idea what's going on. You continue to read, and then all the pieces start to fall into place, and that's like, oh, okay, there we go, I get it. And I feel like what really helps Gideon, the series, and the whole thing in general is the writing style, because there's a really good balance of seriousness and humor. Because the first time we meet Gideon, she's trying to leave the planet, and she's like taking her like dirty magazines with her. I'm like, okay, girl, you do you, go off. Gideon is always teasing Harrow, calling her like my bone emperor, my gloom mistress, my night bitch, and I'm like, yes. Their relationship is so fun to read, because you have the goofy Gideon, like the himbo, lesbian Gideon, and then you got super serious, like the short queen with a high temper Harrow, who's so the dynamic of like sunshine himbo and then like depressed goth is so on point. And then you have the rest of the series in which Harrow and Gideon aren't even in it that much. They don't even show up until like the end. I've always thought their dynamic would fit really well in a Studio Trigger anime. If any of you know about like Studio Trigger, they did stuff like Gurren Lagann and Little Witch Academia and Promare. If you see all of the main pairs in those series, they really do have like a dumb smart sunshine puppy and like depressed goth like dynamic going on, and I feel like they would really work. So Studio Trigger, if you ever need like a new anime idea, like you should really look into the Locktoon. I think that'd be really fun. Okay, so I'm gonna try sriracha. Isn't this a squeeze bottle, or am I stupid? I think I'm stupid. Oh my god, this smells like peppers and chilies. Yes, this is a squeeze bottle. Well, it just says chili, so that doesn't really help. Okay, before I go into Harrow, I'm gonna go into the second book, but real quick, I'm gonna try sriracha. I'm gonna put on this brontosaurus. Didn't they say that brontosauruses aren't real? Ooh, like not that they aren't real, it's just that like wasn't there a dinosaur that turned out to be two dinosaurs skeletons accidentally fused into one skeleton, and then everybody got mixed up about it? Right, so I'm gonna try sriracha. Not bad. I should be on Hot Ones. They probably have much more hotter sauces on Hot Ones. So, going into Harrow the Ninth, which is the second book in the Locktoon series, where I was vibing in Gideon the Ninth, I just vibed even harder in Harrow the Ninth. I'm gonna be real with you, I have no idea what was happening in Harrow the Ninth up until the very end. I'm stupid. I'm just so stupid. I have the brain of Swiss cheese. So Harrow the Ninth, this is gonna involve some spoilers from Gideon the Ninth. So in Harrow the Ninth, Gideon is apparently dead, and the lictor process is the fusing of souls of the Cavalier and the Necromancer. So, which results in the Cavalier's death, usually. So what Harrow Hark is trying to do now, along with Ianthe, I think that's how you pronounce her name, who's the other lictor, what all these lictors / saints are trying to do is defeat resurrection beasts. I didn't know what resurrection beasts really were until I looked it up on the wiki after I read Nona the Ninth, because real quick, resurrection beasts make a small appearance in Nona the Ninth, and I'm like, oh yeah, resurrection beasts. What are those again? So I had to look it up on the wiki. And even then, as they're going through Lictor training, as Harrow and Eon, they are having their strange like dance around each other, I'm just vibing. I have no idea what's going on. Whose is this? Whose is that? Whose name is who? I don't really know. But this is a good time. Because, like I said, in this series, there's a really good balance between serious and funny. The cadence. Is cadence even the right word? I think cadence is only really used for audio. But the cadence of the word choices really makes it so that you want to keep reading to see what's next, what's going to happen next. Because there's just a really intricate craftsmanship around the reveal of the puzzle, so to speak. So then you come right up into the end of Harrow the Ninth, and the reveals in the end are like, oh shit, this is happening. Even though I can't say that I love this series, there's just something about it that like makes me want to keep reading, because I do care about these characters. I want to see what they're going to do next. And just overall, the way that the characters interact with each other, the way that we discover their motivations, who they are, and what have they experienced, because a lot of these characters are hundreds of years old. A lot of these characters have died and then been resurrected. And then seeing their thoughts about like the ethics and morals of it all, it's kind of fascinating. It makes you really wonder, if we do enter into a war like this, like how is the real world going to react? And which is funny, going into Nona the Ninth, this kind of is what happens. Spoilers, of course, for Nona the Ninth as well. Now, I do have milk in the fridge. I have soju in the fridge. I'm gonna try. Oh my god, this is just a bottle. They don't even give us like, oh, just do one drop. You don't even have a dropper. This is the insanity sauce. What is it? What's in here? Hot peppers. Okay, but what kind of peppers? Okay, I'm gonna shake it real quick. I don't know if this is ghost peppers. I did see a ghost pepper sauce, but then this one says it's insane, which is exactly how I felt while reading Nona the Ninth. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Insane. Let's go with it. Okay, it doesn't smell crazy. It kind of smells like barbecue sauce. So I'm probably just, I don't want to underestimate it. There's something else about this smell that makes me, it's vinegary. I'm just huffing. Okay, I'm gonna try to do one drop. So yes, I was feeling quite insane while reading Nona the Ninth. Like I said, I knew what I was getting into. This is the third book in the series. No, this isn't a drop. Okay, that's a drop. I'm gonna let it coat the nuggie. It's like I'm watching a slug slowly down the tree. So Nona the Ninth, as you can see, follows Nona. And Nona is an amnesiac who lives on a planet with Pyrrha, Camilla, and Palamedes, except Palamedes and Camilla are in the same body. And just to explain real quick who Camilla and Palamedes are, they were in Gideon the Ninth as the necromancer Palamedes and Cavalier Camilla of the Sixth House. However, due to stuff that I still don't really understand how happened, Camilla and Palamedes are sharing the same body. They're sharing Camilla's body in a sort of incomplete, I guess you can say, lictorhood. And so they all live together in this new planet, trying to help Nona, trying to figure out who she is, because she doesn't know, and they don't really quite know who she is. Okay, so I'm going to eat this now. And, well, I'm probably overreacting. Let's just go into it. It just tastes, oh, okay. Oh. It just started on my tongue and now it's spreading throughout my whole mouth. Okay, no, I can't do this. Oh, it's inside my throat now. Is it weird that I feel it in my ears? I'm crying a little bit. Thank God it was only a little bit, because I'm trying to talk and then my tongue goes numb. I should have eaten this nugget at the end, because now I don't know if I can talk. I'm running out of milk. I didn't plan for this. I thought it. Real quick, I'm gonna suck on some ice because I'm out of milk. I also have some soju. I didn't plan to have soju, I just happened to have soju because my friends left it after karaoke. Okay, I think I'm feeling better now. I just kind of realized how I look a lot like Wednesday Addams right now, and there's that new Wednesday show that's out on Netflix. Is it a show or is it a movie? I don't know. It's so funny. I didn't plan this. But Tamsin planned for Nona to look like Wednesday Addams. This is the dark gray shot glass that was on, I think it was on Rainbow Crate. My tongue is still hot, but... Anyway. Goombay. That hits the spot. The Koreans got it down. Chicken and soju. That's the way it goes. Back to Nona the Ninth after that interlude in which I nearly burned my mouth out. I really enjoyed Nona the Ninth more than, well, I guess it's a little bit of recency bias because it's been a while since I read Gideon and Harrow. I think I read Gideon a year after it came out. I bought it and then it just kind of sat on my shelf for a while, and then it was during the pandemic. I was like, let's just read Gideon. It's been a while, so it's a little bit of recency bias, I admit, why I like Nona more. But I think the thing about Nona is that this is the book in which things really actually do get explained this time. I actually do like the sriracha, and I know that some places have sriracha ketchup, so real quick, I'm going to finish the rest of my nuggies. I'm going to mix some sriracha and ketchup. Just a little bit. I know, I'm like, I just ate some like insane sauce and now I'm eating more hot sauce. All right, just a little bit. So in Nona the Ninth, there are these interlude chapters, sort of like dream chapters, in which the Emperor, whose real name is John, explains how the world came to be and how he became to be known as the Emperor Undying, which is really fascinating. It was like I was watching a news story play out in real life, the way that it was retold to us. I have to keep taking little sips, because if I keep talking, then like the heat from my tongue comes back. So he explains how he became by how he and his team of scientists and who are also his friends, were trying to work on a technology that could save humans, as like because of climate change, like how it was ravaging the world, and some of the rich people were trying to do a Wall-E and like get on like a giant ship to get off the planet to another one. And then just somehow he obtains these like powers over corpses, and it develops into this whole thing where it starts out as a cult, and then he ends up puppeting probably the President of the United States, and then uses his new powers to obtain a nuclear bomb that he uses to bargain with the powers that be in the world to like stop the ships with only the wealthy people from leaving the planet, because they found out that like it was only going to be the wealthy people who were leaving the planet and not everybody else. It was revealed that when John ends up detonating the nuclear bomb, setting off more nuclear bombs, because nuclear bombs still haven't been dismantled, he ends up using the energy of all the deaths in order to kind of absorb the soul of the earth itself. And because he couldn't absorb the entirety of the soul of the earth, he creates another body out of himself in a very Adam and Eve like style to fashion Electo, who holds the other part of the soul of the earth. That is everything that should have happened if I also read the Wikipedia article correctly. Because as I was reading, I'm like, okay, so he's trying to literally absorb the soul of the earth, and because he couldn't do it, he fashioned this lady out of his own ribs and clay. Like I was like, am I reading this correctly? And then I go to the wiki, I'm like, okay, I think I did read it correctly. Because it was just so fascinating to me, this concept of the soul of a planet, which is, turns out that's what the resurrection beasts are, kind of, in which they are these beasts that are created at the sudden death of planets. Because not only did John set off like nuclear bombs and then try to absorb the soul of the earth, he uses like his rush of energy to basically take down the entire solar system and then resurrect it, remade in his own image, so to speak. And that's where the 9 houses come from. When it was revealed that Nona the Ninth was going to come out, I was like, okay. Because the thing is, how it was originally intended was, Gideon was going to be the first book, Harrow was going to be the second, and then Electo the Ninth was going to be the third book. And then Nona slid in, and we're all like, huh? And I was like, okay, great, another book, I'm gonna read it. And then as it started, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be sort of like an interlude book, because I was under the impression that Nona was the identity of Harrow during this like troubled point in her life. It's sort of like I was under the impression that it was sort of gonna be like how in Tokyo Ghoul, Kaneki goes through such a serious traumatic experience that like he goes into amnesia and then ends up like becoming a whole new identity because his brain was just like that hard that he ends up becoming a whole new person because of the traumatic response. I forgot his name, but I used to cosplay the character from Tokyo Ghoul 3, Psycho. Yeah, Psycho was fun. Even though I don't think I'm wrong in saying that Nona is more of an interlude book, but I think what makes it worthwhile is that you care about these characters, you want to learn where they're from. Nona herself is just such a joy to read, because she is an amnesiac, she is still kind of a child. She is 19 years old physically, but because of the mystery surrounding her, she's able to do certain things and still unable to do certain things. It's so nice to read about these characters and their found family dynamic that they found themselves in. They always want to make sure Nona eats properly. They want to make sure she's safe. And Nona herself is so enamoring and so sweet. She works as a teacher's aide in the school that's full of like these rowdy kids. One of them is named Hot Sauce, and Hot Sauce is the leader of their little ragtag, I guess you can say, like not Goonies, what's the other word? What's that group of kids that were like really famous in like the 70s? Okay, whatever. But like, you know what I mean. It's the ragtag group of young kids up to no good. The shenanigans they're into. And it's through Nona that you're able to sort of piece together this new world, this new situation they found themselves in. You meet characters that were from the other books, and you meet new characters such as the Blood of Eden. I don't remember if the Blood of Eden was featured in Harrow the Ninth, but Blood of Eden, they're there too, who are this rebellious group that are trying to stand up against Emperor John. And poor Emperor John is like in some deep depression. He's like, what is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? I'm so sorry. You can probably hear my upstairs neighbors going up and down the stairs and rattling around up in the... If I just became a mukbang channel, would you guys watch? I actually really don't like eating in front of people, but here I am. It's not like I don't like eating in front of people. I think it's just through a screen. It's a little weird, but here I am doing it. So just to wrap up my thoughts about Nona and the Locked Tomb, I really like this series. I would say it's on my favorites list just as a series overall and the concepts themselves. And I appreciate that they don't treat their audience as stupid. I appreciate that they don't hold my hand, and I appreciate good writing, and I appreciate that it's funny where funny is appropriate. Overall, this is like a high 4-star read for me, and I am really excited to see all hell break loose in Electa the Ninth, which hopefully should come out next year. I love Nona, and I loved all the characters in this book. And if this is something that you're interested in, give this a go. It's okay that you might not understand everything all at once, because that's not the point. The point is to discover as you go along. And I'm not just going to keep continuing this series. I am really excited to see where Tamsin Muir goes next, if she wants to continue this series or if she wants to go into other series in the future. I heard that Tamsin Muir did Homestuck fanfiction, and that's kind of where Gideon and this whole series is inspired from. So that's definitely something to keep in mind as I'm reading this, because Homestuck was definitely a puzzle box in and of itself. So, okay, I'm gonna finish up my nuggies. I'm gonna drink this last cup of soju because I do not want to get drunk, because I don't, because it's Sunday, the Lord's Day. If you ever find yourself wanting to review hot sauces, make sure you actually can handle spice. I feel like I can handle a decent amount of spice, but I definitely could not handle this. This is going somewhere else. I don't know where, but Cholula and Sriracha are my friends now, and so is soju, Sunhari soju. Kiss your fandom friends goodnight. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.